Thanks for joining us for another Kickstarter Conniption. Today we're doing an overview of the game Fjordar.
As always, we want to make sure you are aware that our preview videos and overview videos are sponsored in part by our Kickstarter backers and the creators of this game. Hello and welcome to Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Journeyman Dan, and today we're doing an overview of Fjordar by Go To Pieces Games. It's a 2 to 4 player hex-based area control game set in the 1100s Norwegian Civil War with various paths to victory and card-driven combat.
In setting up for the game, there's a basic pre-designed layout that we're going to show you, but when you play the full advanced version, you'll also get to do a draft of sorts to build the map one player at a time to really customize it to try and fit your strategy style.
Alright, we've got a prototype, so let's jump in and take a look.
Place the hex map pieces on the table, building out your multi-layered mountainous countryside.
Place castles, churches, ships, and other terrain pieces on the board, along with your starting units.
Each player will finish by placing some of their own heirs, as well as an opponent's heirs, onto castles on the battlefield.
Each player starts with the same 4 movement cards in hand. Your turn begins by playing one of those cards. Add up all the feet showing, including any of the left margin of previously played cards, and then spread the movement as you choose among any of your troops.
Each time you enter a new area, you place a cube marking that you control it. If you've moved into an area with an enemy unit, you then enter the combat phase.
Each player adds up their combat strength based on troops in the battle and combat cards they've previously played. Then they each play a new combat card and see who has the highest total.
The winner then claims the area, while the loser might be forced to retreat or be eliminated.
After combat, any of your units can use an action space that's in their area. The forest actions include chopping down a forest to build a village, a boat, or a church.
The village action lets you muster a troop or tax the village. You can also use an action to burn down another rival church and light a signal fire.
The last action you can do is transport one of your heirs from one castle you control to another via connected support line, gaining more points the longer the journey.
Once your actions are done, you score points for all of your signal fires and reveal an event if one was triggered.
Each player continues taking turns until someone reaches 50 points, triggering the end of game.
This game provides much more than just combat as a viable way of playing and winning, with the churches being a prime example of that. When you build a church, you gain victory points, and the reward gets larger for each one you build. You can also burn existing churches, which gives you gold.
Yes, I'm not up on my 1100s Norwegian history, but I can definitely imagine the rival parties with different beliefs coming through and taking over, burning down existing churches there and building their own to spread their own religion through the countryside. And it creates an interesting mechanic as you move up the track to greater rewards for your actions.
Moving an heir can also be a big source of points, as sometimes the path from one castle to another will get pretty big, giving you more points.
And that's really where that whole supply chain aspect comes into play. It's important to move through areas to spread and maintain your control so that you have easier movement and so that you can transport your heirs.
When you do that transport action, not only do you get points, you also get to draw a leader card to add to your movement hand. Or if you prefer, you can draw ally tokens which contribute to endgame scoring.
And those leaders can have some powerful abilities. Ryan had one that gave him movement for every church he controlled, so he was able to combine that with some other cards and get like 7 or 8 movement in a turn. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was a big payoff.
Yeah.
There is also a risk-reward element to movement, as your first 2 cards are free to play, but you have to pay gold for each card beyond that. Is it worth it to play a 4th card and have lots of movement, or should you just save your gold?
All of this demonstrates to me that this is much more than just a war game. Ryan and I played and we had one battle the whole game, but we still got to the 50 points. Obviously, you can be way more aggressive than we were, and with more people on the board, it would naturally lead to more conflict.
Well, if this looks like something you would be interested in, be sure to check out Fjordar on Kickstarter.
And as always, be sure to like this video and subscribe to Tantrum House for more content like this in the future.
And the mic is on.
I'll talk to you later then.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I don't want to make excuses here. Some of those words, I'm like, what is that? I'm gonna need makeup in here.
You're gonna get it.
This isn't that hard.
Use your words, Dan.
I'm a professional.
Use your words.